because look, everybody, it's Steiny and Goo.
Oh, yeah,
now,
baby.
both of them have already had a role on this show today, especially Matt Steinmetz, who will be performing his final show here on 95.7 The Game, because your career will never get better than it did today. So
what did I miss?
You better walk it off,
He got his flowers.
You better walk
I got lost.
it off.
Yeah, I wasn't listening to this. Go ahead, Steiny. What happened?
What's up, bud?
I agree this has Last Dance feel to it, but why does it have to be? Because they got everybody under contract except Draymond Green.
Because I just don't believe that they're going to do a $483 million payroll.
What if they win it all?
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, if they do, if
So
they
you don't
win
think
it
there's
all.
any way they can keep Draymond now?
No, of course there's a way.
I wouldn't say there's no way. I think that Joe Lacob has said that the way that would work is not something he's willing to do.
But what I'm saying is, if they win it this year, Draymond could theoretically say, actually, I'm going to opt in.
Yeah.
And now we're running it back to try to win 3.
Yeah,
right.
And who would be surprised? And when you guys keep banging on that drum of Last Dance, it was over. It was a wrap. No matter who leaves, we know who's not leaving. Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, and I'm with you, Mark. The Three Musketeers, when you talk about Clay, Dre, and Steph, I get that. But the music is still going.
It still goes.
We still dancing no matter what happens because we know who's not leaving. The Bulls, it was over. Everybody was gone.
My guess is.
Ain't got to go home.
And if they win it all,
can't stay here.
It's going to make it a lot more complicated. But if you ask me right now, what I would favor, the leader in the clubhouse would be that Draymond gets traded after this season.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
If he opts in. And I think that no matter what happens, if it's clear that the relationship is not going to go forward, I don't know if he would opt in and then get traded, or if he would just opt out and sign elsewhere. I don't know if Draymond would want the embarrassment of being dealt somewhere where he doesn't want to be dealt.
If he doesn't opt in, then you don't need to trade him. And you can't trade
That's
him.
my point.
That's
my point.
Wow, that would be the biggest gift he could ever give the Warriors, would be to opt out and sign elsewhere, because they could, now they've got all kinds of plausible deniability as far as their role in his departure.
But if they did trade him, at least they'd be getting something back for him. But I don't know if if he could handle the embarrassment of being dealt like that.
Yeah, I don't know. The one thing that Bob Myers has said now for a couple of years, I totally believe him, is they don't know what they're going to do a year from now. Because if a year ago somebody were to have told you, they're going to extend Poole and re-sign Wiggins for $250 million combined dollars, you'd be like, no.
Yeah, Bob said that as much. He said that last year. If somebody would have said that to him, he would have said, "You're crazy."
Right. At the same time, though, Mike Dunleavy Jr. sat in here 10 minutes before and talked about how organizations work 5 years in advance.
No doubt.
So, and I'm not calling either of them liars, because I understand what they mean. You're planning for the future without committing, because you don't know, and you do have to make adjustments as they go. So I think both of them are saying something that's true, which is that they have no idea what they've done in the offseason, but I also bet they've run all of the possibilities, and they're prepared for what is probably going to happen next, because you don't sign these two contracts if you're not prepared to move off of something else in the pretty near future.
And Bob also told us nothing was going to jump off. That it was going to be quiet on the set. And then bam, bam, you get Wiggins and you get Poole. And with all my character flaws, guys, the one thing I do have going for myself is I don't have an ego. I never ask why my name's second on the show. But some people do, right? Some people do. And I'm just wondering, because I was tough on Drake because I disagree with what happened, but I know what he brings. But I'm wondering if he looks at this like there was a line and I should have been first in line. There are people where that means something to, Mark and Dibbs, and that could set them to where, you know what, I shouldn't have to wait. I've been here before, both players. I should be first in. Just the thought I had.
But he's not. And when he comes out and says, "I'm looking for the max," and the response is,
crickets.
Yes, then you're not first in line.
Totally.
And Jordan Poole was always going to be first. And I actually asked Bob Myers actually asked, he responded to this. He's like, why did all of you think that this Wiggins extension came out of nowhere? And it's like, I thought that none of us was talking about how Wiggins was going to get extended now. That, to me...
I thought Bob said, I thought Joe said it was, business was shut down for the time being. That's why I went with that.
Unless you go in and, go under market,
Yeah, and I think what he said is, we're not going to be able to pay everybody.
Well, that's what
he can still stand by that.
Two.
Yeah,
exactly. You paid these two. And he also said, and the Wiggins one, definitely a surprise, I think, more of a surprise for all of us.
Definitely.
And Bob even asked us, he goes, why is that? He says, why did everybody sort of expect Jordan and not Andrew? And we were like, well, A, you guys have spoke about it publicly and said to sort of expect it. And B, if there's anything that really sort of raised our eyebrows over the weekend, Jordan, you sort of knew a small window as to what that contract would look like. Andrew, I think all of us are like, wow, you took a team for, like you're taking a pay cut.
Chalk one up for the Warriors culture. Chalk one up.
You're age 27. You just had your best year, and you're going to take a salary cut for what you're making next year. Yes, chalk a huge one up to the Warriors.
Well, he's already had a max. He's tasted that.
Yeah, he's got plenty of money, but still, guys don't. Both of them made a decision that most guys don't, and that's what impressed me the most. Jordan Poole made a decision to say, I'm willing to wait to be a number one option on a team. And Andrew Wiggins took less money than he probably would have made had he waited and gone to the open market. And that's a huge nod to the Warriors for both of them.
I also think a big part of this is players. Some players really look at timing. And for Andrew Wiggins, okay, maybe a little quote-unquote underpaid. But what is he, 27?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to take him right to about 31, 32, and then he gets one more big boy in a perfect world. And that's kind of one of the things that's, to me, going on with Draymond Green. He put himself more in no man's land at 33, 34 with his contract situation, and he's not as durable as Andrew Wiggins. So that's the other thing that's going on here. You sign Wiggins at 27, that takes you right to 31, set up for his last contract. Poole, you go from 23 to 27, but Draymond's like at 34, and he's just not playing as much as he used to. And that's the biggest problem to me with Draymond is he's still very, very important. He just doesn't play enough anymore.
You cannot imagine, in my eyes, Draymond doing what Wiggins did, and that's taking a 25% pay cut. Wiggins is making 33.6 this year.
Wow.
Next year, when his new contract kicks in, he's making 24.3.
And
he's taking a $9 million pay cut, and he's happy about it. And Draymond's going to make 27 next year if he opts in. And no matter where he goes, I think that his next contract is not going to be bigger. Certainly, it wouldn't be here if they were going to re-sign him. I don't think they will. So that's going to be a tough pill for him to swallow. Meanwhile, you mentioned it. Wiggins is happy about it. I was asking Bob, I'm like, did he just follow Jordan Poole in the office and say, I'll sign too?
Man.
I mean, it's fascinating right now because to go with Bob Myers' words, let's wait, we don't know what's going to happen. Give me the scenario that would lead Draymond to not want to opt in next year. What's the scenario where he contractually goes, you know what? Because it's not going to come from the Warriors, obviously. So the only way he would do that is if, A, there's another team out there that's either going to offer him more, or he decides that a guarantee over 3 years, 3 years, $60 million is more important to him than 1 year, 27 at his age, which is plausible, but
I wonder if he already has his mind made up. And what I just mentioned about,
Rich Paul.
The two fellas getting their bag and not his, like, is that an insult on the under? But he has no terrain right now to be boisterous in regard to being upset because, what went down with Jordan Poole. And we talked about, how the Warriors going to approach the big three, minute restriction or whatnot. We could see the best Draymond Green or the best effort and mindset of him basically auditioning and showing everybody, I still got it. Get me my bag. Not opting in for 1 year. So I'm eager and curious to see, like, he could be coming out like a Lawrence Taylor, a crazed dog.
Well, he already said that he's got something for all the haters. He's going to impress y'all in his second press conference. The opt-out scenario for me is if he and LeBron and Clutch have already have a wink-wink handshake deal where play this year, and then next year you come to LA with LeBron and see if we can't stick it to Golden State.
Well, I gotta believe. So Westbrook's coming off, and he's making $47 million.
Right.
So I don't know.
Every penny.
I don't know the Lakers' cap situation, but I could see them signing Draymond for 3 for $70, something like that.
Yeah.
Don't you think Bob drives Draymond to the airport? Honestly, no, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean that in a you just signed Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins to massive extensions.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Joe Lacob's over here going, I'm sorry, because I want everyone to understand this $500 million payroll we keep talking about is not this year. It's next year.
Yeah.
If Draymond were to opt in, and so if he opts out, it's like the reverse luxury tax. It's not 27 coming off the books.
Right.
It's about
45
60
or
coming off. That's a massive thing. And I got to think. And again, there are scenarios. Do they win the title? Do they not? Is he healthy? Is he not? That all affects it. But, man, I got to think that the Warriors would feel like a real gift was given to them if that were to happen.
Plus all the money you spend on Excedrin for the headaches that's caused by having them.
I'm going to give you a 3.
I'll take it.
I always ask Steiny real quick here about when's the Steph Curry doc coming out? When's the LeBron doc coming out? The Tom Brady. But you know who we need to add? And it's not just because we're here. It's Joe Lacob. I keep going back to
I'll tell you all about
that
him.
booing, and now you got 4 and 8, which the 4 could get greater. This dude, who's going to play him? Well, he can still play himself. He got all his hair. He's ready.
Brian Windhorst is tuning up. You think last year was a checkbook championship.
Dude.
He's tuning up his takes right now for this year.
Who's gotten off to a better start as an owner than Lacob, man?
Jerry Buss.
And that better start. Yeah.
Better start.
Better start.
He won it his first year. Lacob, it took 2 or 3 years.
But now we're 4
He needed to
8.
get booed out of the building first.
Oh,
yeah. But he turned a franchise that had been just like a forgotten thing or never even thought of thing nationally for years. To the point where now, again, I've said this last year, this is the show. This is the show in sports.
It's crazy.
This is the branded sports. I'm not the Lakers are coming tomorrow. I get in a grand through the years sense, the Lakers are obviously still a bigger brand. But if you want to talk about right now, spotlight today, there's nothing bigger than this.
And look at the guy over your left shoulder. We got a poster in the suite. It's about 6 feet by 3 feet of Steph. With pointing to the ground, that's the I'm back, right? That's the I'm back.
You know what's
moment.
interesting is it looks like I thought I'm back was in Portland.
It was in Portland,
and that looks like there's a lot of yellow. So maybe that's a home game
and a white jersey.
So that might be a my house.
Yeah. I got you.
My house.
I got you.
By the way, we were talking some. What are the questions? What are the themes for the Warriors? How good they get? And you know what I was thinking? Kuminga, Wiseman. What level Steph playing at? That's really what it's about.
Yeah,
if Steph can stay at the same level he was last year, essentially, and I know his shooting numbers were down a little bit.
Yeah, last year.
Means they don't care. That means the Warriors will be fine during the regular season.
If you got another game 4 in the playoffs, then everything's going to be fine.
Exactly. If he still looks like Steph Curry,
54 and 28, 54 and 28, and then the 2 seed and trouble, and the Clippers on the round. Just if Steph plays like he did in the finals, Andrew Wiggins, if they all play at that level, it doesn't matter if they win 44, 54, or 64. That's going to be a tough out for any team.
I think they went home court for round 1. That's their goal. They don't want to finish 5th. Yeah. That's what
they should have that.
You would think so.
And if you scour the league, it's an embarrassment of riches because everybody's excited from what they're seeing from Wiseman. But who pays Jordan Poole that money, and he's not even in the starting lineup?
Right.
He got the bag, but it's still it's traffic because we got to start in 5. It's incredible.
That bag is on the bench.
All right, sign Steph jersey, signed Clay jersey, Steiny and Goof from Chase Center, a parade of coaches and players from the Golden State Warriors as well. Coming up next on 95.7 The Game.